Hi. I want to encourage us today that even in the midst of the storm, whatever that may look like for you, that God has not changed. His love for you has not changed. Some have lost their jobs. That may be you. And that may be the storm that you are riding through. Some are homeschooling and have relocated to working at home. Workloads have changed and increased. A different storm, but nonetheless a storm. That may be your storm. We are all living with disruptions, many changes, and trying to walk on water in the midst of the storm. Not to mention the storm of information and misinformation overload. We face a barrage of different conspiracies and contradictory theories coming at us daily, and are left with trying to sort out with our limited knowledge of what is actually factual and what is fiction. What should we listen to? What should we pay attention to or put into action? And what is just causing more confusion in our already crowded minds? They cannot all be right, and they cannot all be wrong. We all live with uncertainty of what our world would look like when we get back to some form of normality. In the midst of this storm, we must firmly attach our anchor to God and His love for us. This is one thing that is certain. His love was proven to us when He died on the cross. His love for you has never changed. God's love is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Let's take a look at the Apostle Paul and what he has to say in 2 Corinthians 1, 8-10. For we do not want you to be ignorant, brethren, of our trouble that came to us in Asia, that we were burdened beyond measure, above strength, so that we despaired even of life. Paul himself was burdened beyond measure. He was experiencing trouble that he despaired even to life. That sounds to me like he was going through quite a dramatic situation. He goes on to say in verse 9, yes, we had the sentence of death in ourselves, that we should not trust in ourselves, but in God who raises the dead. In the midst of a sentence of death, he reminds us not to trust in ourselves, but in God. We need to be encouraged by that. We must not trust in our ability, but in God's ability to rescue us and keep us safe. We need to remind ourselves, especially in these treacherous and tricky times, to put our trust in God who raises the dead. Now let's look at verse 10. Who delivered us from so great a death and does deliver us, in whom we trust that He will still deliver us. Now, there are three dimensions of God's deliverance here. Firstly, God has delivered us. Paul was obviously delivered from this trouble, deadly trouble. This is past tense. God has delivered us. Secondly, He does deliver us. This is present tense. In whom we trust will, thirdly, still deliver us. This is future tense. We must believe in a God whose love is so great for us that He has delivered us, is continuing to, and will continue to do so. God's love for us does not run out. His love will never run out. His love will never run out for you. We must remain in this attitude that God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. In the midst of this trouble, believe that God, who delivered you, will deliver you now. God is always working on your behalf. This is the posture that we must have toward trouble. God loves you. You can put your trust in Him. He's trustworthy. Thanks for listening. This is Rosanna Palmer.